Welcome back to the Travsessed podcast. We're your hosts, Kim and Aaron. We are back for another week with the healthy vibes.
Yeah, we're going to share just a couple of tips that we do, just like healthier things, kind of share a little bit about our health journey from when we were like fat as fuck to like to kind of just creating healthier habits and where we are now. So I think it'll be fun, and
But not only very large, very unhealthy, like even like numbers wise.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna break down all the healthy things and tell some funny stories in this app. So before we get into the app, I have a couple announcements. Number one, we talked about it last week, but we are officially releasing, the Peru trip next Thursday. So on January 26th, we will be sharing all of the details about the Peru trip, the itinerary, the price, the dates, what's included, what to expect, all of the things that will go out to our interest list. So if you're on our trip interest list, just check your inbox on that day. You'll get the email. You'll be able to read the full guide and see if this trip feels like a good fit for you. And if you haven't, then make sure to join that interest list because that is where we are going to send all the info. So if you're not on it, you're not going to get the information. As simple as that. So the link to do that is in the show notes, or you can go over to Travsessed.com and just click on Adventure Trips and join the list. It's going to be an epic trip.
Yeah, it's because we did Peru almost last year to the date. Mm-hmm. And so now, after researching, you found all these new cool things to do, which is like really cool. I think it's interesting with our adventure trips because I wonder if we'll ever be those people that plan the same one.
No, never.
I know.
No, because we're doing a completely different trip, right? So we're hiking the Salcantay Trail to Machu Picchu. We're ATVing up to Rainbow Mountain. We're whitewater rafting. We're doing a cooking class.
A
pisco tasting and ceviche making.
Wow, that sounds like a hardcore pisco tasting, ceviche making.
Yeah.
Food day.
It's going to be a whole foodie. Like, we have lots of food, lots of adventure, massages, just all kinds of cool stuff. So it's going to be the first trip was amazing, and this is going to be a completely different trip, which I'm excited about because it's also a completely new experience for us that we get to share with new people. So go check that out, join the interest list, and hopefully we will meet you and have an adventure together in real life in Peru in June.
And the second announcement is we are doing a closeout sale for our backpacks. Now, after researching the word closeout,
dun, dun.
That usually means that it's no longer being, they're coming off the shelf and never putting it back. So I don't really like that word.
I'm calling it a clearance sale.
Same thing. Clearance means like whatever. That's not the case with us. We have our new logo. Hold
on, wait, put some context around this. So for our Travsessed backpack,
I was going to.
Well, you
just
jumped ahead to like new logo and stuff.
I was just saying it in a different order.
Okay.
So we have the first ever logo that we created on our Travsessed backpack on this current inventory. So since we launched that inventory or purchased that inventory and started selling it, we've changed the branding, we've changed the logos, and we have a new version of the backpack, which I'm really excited to release. So we really want to clear out this stock and start, rebranding and putting all this stuff that we've worked on for this past year out there. And something I'm really excited about. So just so you know, the sale starts when, bud?
It's now. You can go on our website. The new price is $64.97.
Nice.
So it's a lot cheaper than what it was. And again, I just want to preface too that this version of the backpack is super. It's fantastic. It's high quality.
Totally.
It's the version of the backpack that we carry ourselves, that we've traveled all over the world with, that thousands of other travelers have used. Like, it's a great backpack. We just want to do some new designs, add a color, add our branding, and tweak a couple of things to just have a better version of it. So the $64.97 is a reflection of us just wanting to sell out this inventory because we can't create the new one until this is sold. And so, anyways, it's a great price. Go check it out if you haven't. If you already have one, they're great, fun gifts for friends.
Totally.
And the new backpack will definitely be more expensive. And yes, and really excited about that. But this is again a great bag at a great price, perfect for the travel life. So go check that out. You can go to Travsessed.com, buy a few for your friends and family. Help us sell this inventory.
Yeah.
Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Flight crew, please prepare for departure.
Okay, so this is actually giving context around it.
You always have to give context.
I do, but I do it in a different way than you do. Like, I will say something, but I will, like, maybe structure my sentences differently.
Yeah, but sometimes you start at the beginning or the end instead of, like, starting from the beginning of
builds,
what...
I feel like it builds anticipation.
No, it builds confusion.
Yeah. You know. Sure.
You have to start from the beginning.
So anyway, I'll start from the beginning. This topic of, kind of our health journey and healthy tips that we have done and learned and do on the regular is something that we really, really enjoy talking about. It was a huge passion of ours. As if you've been listening to this podcast, you know that Kim and I's first business venture was into the fitness world. We were personal trainers. Kim was a nutrition health coach. And we went all in with it and really loved it. But then we just realized it's really something that we like for ourselves, not so much, putting it out there as a career.
Yeah, to like be a personal trainer wasn't the vibe.
No.
But I love talking about like health and wellness and healthy food, and
it's something you're really good at.
Well, it's something I really love, and I think that's what it was, a natural progression, because when we first started getting healthier together, it became kind of a passion and interest as we started to change our life, as that kind of happens. And then you're learning things and you're applying things and you're seeing how much better you feel and how much better you look and the habits that you're creating and letting go of. And then and then you just start to want to talk about it and share about it. Because you're like, wow, this has worked for me. And so anyways, it's just kind of something that's been a huge part of our life for 12 years?
Yeah.
No, 13 years? How long have we been together? 15?
Yeah, we started in like 2011.
Nah. Because we got together in 20...
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
2007.
It was like 2008.
It was like, we had one hardcore year of just being straight up pigs. And then after that, we decided to like get healthy together.
Totally. And
it was like a year.
And I think diving into that right away, it was crazy because I'll never forget my moment. Kim and I got into habits of ordering like Butterfinger and Reese's Blast from Sonic because it was right up the street.
So
and that
good.
was before DoorDash. So we actually had to get in the car and go get it.
That's commitment.
And yet we were committed.
Like 5 times a week.
And I'll never forget, I was sitting on the couch watching TV, drinking a regular Dr. Pepper, and I set the Sonic Blast on my stomach, and I was sitting up, and it just rested there. And I was like, wow, like I've reached a new low.
Well, our routine at that point, so when we got together, I was 21, you were 25, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I was a smoker. You chewed tobacco. And we drank a lot. I drank Captain and Diet. You drank Jack and Diet. And yeah, it was Diet, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, we were partiers. We'd go out and hang out. And then we would be hungover. And then we would order pizza for lunch, Chinese for dinner, Sonic Blast, snacks all day. Like, we were just so, like, that was like our life. We felt like shit, and then we'd sleep in. And my idea of like eating healthy at that point was having a Caesar salad.
Well, right. And also when we first got together for the first like year and a half, you worked 3 to 11. Mm-hmm. And I worked during the day. So then I would come home and eat fried chicken and macaroni and cheese and sushi rolls and like sandwiches all the time and burgers and Chick-fil-A, and I mean that was like my diet.
And mine was boxed rice-a-roni, Loved that shit.
Still do.
I would tear up some broccoli au gratin right now. I swear to God. I swear. And I'm having a smoothie for dinner and like my mouth is watering for the broccoli.
I could go for some scalloped potatoes. In a box.
God, the Betty Crocker.
Oh.
My God. Yeah, pretty much that's what I lived on. Box food, Lipton noodle soup, loaves of bread, salami sandwiches.
Pizza bites.
Totitos pizza bites. And that's just how I ate. That's what
Panera. Panera was when we were being healthy.
Oh, if I was being... Okay,
broccoli cheddar soup, a baguette.
If I was being healthy, so before I would go into work at 3, I'm like, I'm going to make a healthy choice today. I would literally go to Panera, get like a salami sandwich and some broccoli cheddar soup, but I would get a green tea. And their green tea is amazing, by the way, but it's like...
loaded with sugar.
All sugar.
Yeah.
All sugar. And I'm like, I'm so healthy today.
Yeah.
Like, my skin is glowing from the green tea.
I used to get an Italian combo, which was like salami, ham, and whatever else, God knows what, and a whole bowl of broccoli cheddar, and then order an extra baguette.
Oh, that shit's so good.
I know, it's
baby.
phenomenal. Reminds me of the holidays.
The good old days. Yeah. So... I guess just kind of giving context of that was just our life and that was just what we knew. And, I smoked. And so it was just like, what?
I used to laugh because I would get out of my truck and I could smell the cigarettes and I would hear the clinking of the Captain bottle and I'd be like, we're going out tonight. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll sit on your steps.
Yeah. But like we were 20, I was 21. It's like what else, it's like That's kind of the stage of life you're in. And we went out to eat all the time, and like that was just kind of what we did. And then
Chili's, baby.
Oh,
get the sampler platter.
Okay.
With the southeastern egg rolls and the chicken strips.
Okay, that's actually disgusting. I'm not into that at all.
You used to tear it up.
I'm not into southwestern egg rolls.
Those were your favorite.
I must have blocked it out. I don't remember eating those.
Oh my God.
But we finally got to a point where, and you with just like your labs, like your high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high
triglycerides,
all of that was just...
It was a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. And so we got to that point, like that day where you were like, okay, I look like I'm 5 months pregnant. And again, it was just like the 5th day that week that we'd have the sonic blast. And we're just like, what the fuck? And there's nothing wrong with the sonic blast. Like, we love treats and we eat them quite often. But when you're doing something like anything in that sort of, what's the word? Just
repetition? Yeah,
just this constant. It was just like, I don't even want this anymore. I'm like disgusted.
Well, I mean, the through line throughout this podcast, I think, will be, it's all based off how you feel. If you feel amazing and you're thriving in life and that's what you eat and that's what you feel good with, then by all means, do your thing. Like, Kim and I weren't feeling good, and it was leading to unhealthy habits within our relationship. We actually didn't have any healthy, what are they called? Hobbies. We didn't have any healthy hobbies. Our hobbies were drinking and partying because I played softball. And that was like my one thing, but that got to a point where you're like, you're playing every night. And it was like...
You played 3 nights a week.
Three nights a week.
But I wanted to party.
And again, I was an athlete. That was my identity all the way through high school. So I played every sport under the sun, and I played it competitively. And so it was like one of those things that like I graduated, and then I just became a blob. And I didn't really like the way that felt. I felt like I was losing my athletic edge. And so that's when it started. And then plus our relationship... and just feeling hungover and crappy all the time just never led to good, positive things.
Yeah, we didn't. That was all we did. We partied and slept and ate and watched TV. And, like, that was just where we were at in our life at that point for that year. Like, that's how our relationship started, basically.
Yeah.
And then after that year, we realized, okay, like, we want to make some changes. Like, we want to create some healthy hobbies together. We want to stop partying. We want to change the way we're eating. And so we just started really slow, and we tell this whole backstory on like episode 2 or something.
Yeah.
Way back in the day. But we just started really slow, and we decided to do a race together. It was a 5K.
Well, actually, even backing that up, remember we just went to your gym?
Mm-hmm.
We would start going to your gym, and I started showing you around the gym.
Yeah.
Of just like teaching you what weights were and what to do with them and like what you could do. And then I would run on the treadmill, and then we started running together because I thought it'd be a cool thing to do together. And you couldn't even run to the stop sign, which we could see.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a far stop sign. It was like right up the street.
Well, right.
It was a
which,
block.
Which is crazy. So you were an athlete. I never was an athlete. I never worked out, never gone to a gym. Exercise was not a part of what I did or knew. So when you're teaching me like weights and you do this, it was like learning another language. I had never been in that sort of environment before, and you were like teaching me all these things because you had all of this knowledge from like your sports. And then when we started running, so we signed up for the 5K, and we're like, okay, this is going to be like our goal. We're going to do this together. We're going to cross the finish line. It's going to be this whole thing. And it's something that we can work towards together, and something we could do because we set up a schedule. So you have like a running schedule, like the Couch to 5K, I think it was, right?
Something like that.
And so we started doing that. And I remember on the first run, because I had just quit smoking. Because I was like, I'm done with this. And I was somebody who, once I decide, because I had tried to quit before, kind of like, I'll only smoke with cocktails and this and that.
So I'll just have more cocktails.
Yeah, so I'd be like, I'm just getting cocktails so I can like have a smoke, you know? and so, but I never really took it seriously. I started smoking when I was like 16, and I smoked till 21. And then when I finally got to that point of like, I want to make real changes, and I was willing and ready to commit and let it go, like really ready, I literally stopped smoking and never smoked again. Never wanted to, never thought about it. I didn't have withdrawals. I wasn't like, I'm a bitch, I need to smoke. Like, I just let it go and never looked back. And I think because we were going down this healthier route of like, I wanted to run and not be out of breath. I was eating healthier, trying to like create different habits. I didn't want to feel like shit. I didn't want to not be able to breathe and smell and all of that. So I think that also encouraged me to be like, why are you going to
breathe and smell?
I meant like,
you can't smell when you smoke?
I just lumped those two together. And then like, I wanted to be able to breathe, right, when I was running, but then I didn't want to smell bad.
Oh, because you were like, I wanted to run and I wanted to be able to breathe and smell.
I lumped those two together because
okay.
Honestly, one of the main reasons I wanted to quit smoking was because I didn't like the way that I smell. I didn't like that it was dirty. Like the health stuff, yeah, of course. But like I was 21, or 2019, whatever, when I was smoking, and it was like I never wanted to smell bad in my hands. So I would always get little straws.
Or your kitchen gloves.
And put my cigarettes in a straw and smoke from that so my hands wouldn't smell. Or I would smoke in kitchen gloves. And I had like designated shirts that I would want to wear. Because it's dirty. It's just, to me, it felt very dirty. So anyways, when I made the decision, I was done. And then we just like kept at it. And I just remember when we did the 5K, which is ironically was through the neighborhood that we're now moving into, which is cool.
Yep.
And we did it. And my only goal was that I wanted to run the entire thing. It didn't matter if it was slow, but I didn't want to stop. That was my only goal. Even if I ran a 15-minute mile, I didn't care. And so we crossed that finish line together, holding hands.
10-minute miles.
Yep. And we freaking killed it. So, like, going from not being able to run to the stop sign, but then we kept...
But this was in the 3-month period.
That's what I mean. So, like, we had this 3-month training period, and we stuck with it. We actually stuck with it. We had this... Or no, maybe this was for the river run. It was. When we had the smiley faces.
Yeah, it was the river run.
Okay. Well, this could be effective for anything that you're training for, but the river run's another race that we ran that was, like, 9 miles. But basically, you have a training schedule for Couch to 5K or whatever you're doing, and then it tells you how many miles you have to run every day, to leading up to your race. And so for the river run, we would put a sad face if we didn't. And it's something so simple, but I would look at that and I'd feel disappointed. Mm-hmm. And so we really wanted, when we did something like that, we really wanted to commit to it, because that feeling of crossing the finish line, of being like, wow, like, that felt so good, and something we did together, and something that challenged us and pushed us, and then like we did it. There's no better feeling than that.
No, and I think what was really cool from it kind of all kicked off, kind of the whole thing of like realizing that we're very aligned in our thoughts, Because what we both said that we both agreed when is if we're gonna do this, I don't want to struggle through it, right? Like, yeah, I'll finish, but I don't want to be miserable the whole time. So what do I need to do to prepare myself so that doesn't happen? And you felt the same way, which was really cool. And it was like the first thing we ever really clicked on from a healthy point of view and a driven, scheduled point of view, which I thought was really cool. And I think that had a lasting impression on where we are today.
100%. And we took it seriously. When we committed, we're like, we can't go out and drink with our friends or do this because we have to run a mile tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, like we were saying no to things. We were just like, no, we have to get up and we have to run. Like we're committed. And so our whole life kind of shifted from this, all we did was party and eat Chinese food, to being like, no, like we have our big run tomorrow, our 2-miler. Like we've got to feel our best. So like, let's go to bed early. Like what a wild thought. Or like, you know, have a healthier dinner. What we were learning how to cook healthy, and so I think it just it was a really positive shift in our relationship that then transpired all these other things that came from that.
Yeah, and it was really cool because it led literally we crossed the finish line, and I'll never forget. We were like so happy, like tears, like just it felt so cool to accomplish that with you. And then you were like, we're doing the river run. And I was like, you realize that that's 9.3 miles and that race is in March. We ran our first 5K in December. So it's like, we got 3 months to shape up for 9.3. Like, that's crazy town. And we did it. And we crushed it. And that just kicked off this whole thing. Then we got really involved in the gym. And I will say, too, like, you know, Kim said we were eating really bad. One thing that I really loved that we did was we didn't just, like, get a diet book or... you know, really crack down and be like, we're not having any carbs, we're not having any sugar, we're not doing anything. We just literally said, hey, let's learn to cook some of our favorite foods at home. And let's start that way. So it wasn't like, I mean, it's foods that Kim and I consider a super treat now. But at the time, we were eating healthy.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. It was just like turkey, sausage, sandwiches, but we cooked them at home.
Right, or we would do like mushroom glop.
Then nobody knows what glop is.
Like that's what we called it growing up, but like a stroganoff kind of a thing. It was so delicious with like a pound of noodles, right?
Pound of noodles, cream of mushroom soup. Like,
but it was better than us going to Famous Phillies and eating cheesesteaks, right? So it was like, I love that too. Is like we started to learn how to make healthier food together, and it started as let's just make our healthy our what we love to eat, you know, at home. And then that led to learning more about eating healthier and learning how to cook. And those were all things, excuse me, choking on my green smoothie here. Those were all things that were foreign to us. And that became fun. And it's just interesting to look back on is ever since that moment we made that decision, we've never faltered. And what I mean by that is not that we've never, you know, like we've gone, you know, haven't worked out as much or have gone on times, especially when we're traveling, we're not eating the same. So I don't mean that, but I just mean like we've always stayed in momentum with health and wellness being a huge part of our life and something that's very important to us because I know how much better I feel. And honestly, that's what like, of course I want to look good, but how I felt from that girl who was like smoking, you know, a pack a day and eating Chinese food to
just now
how I feel now, I never could go back there. So it's like, once we made that decision, it just kept building and going and going.
And then improving.
And we got closer and it opened up new things for us to do together that were like healthy and positive. You know, and so I feel like it's like health and fitness, but it really was a whole new journey that we went on that changed our life in just a positive way in all areas of our life.
And I mean, if you know, I dropped 60 pounds during that whole thing.
That's a lot of
which
weight.
is a lot of weight. And so it was really cool. And it was one of those moments of like, I was no longer on blood pressure pills, no longer on cholesterol medicine, like completely changed my numbers. Like, have never looked back ever since. And I think that's really cool because it really did spark that thing of like, we accomplished this together. What else could we do? And now that we felt so good, we felt clear, you started like journaling, you started writing, like I started diving into some ideas and things like that, and it kicked off this entire journey. So it all started there.
And I love that you said that, because the health and fitness journey is what started everything. And then as you start to feel better, you reach for things you want to feel even better and better and better. And it just like, it's almost like the fog lifts and you're in this whole different sort of like perception. And so it started as that, but then it's like I got really interested in wanting to focus on my mindset and my mental health and working on myself, like internally, like working on, you know, my insecurities, my jealousies, all these things that were going on with me that was...
Well, they fly to the surface because all of a sudden you feel good, you look good, and then you're like, wow.
Right. Exactly. But right, you're like, oh, I'm like really messed up. Like I have all these issues. Like what's wrong with me? Why am I, you know, like I have other things to work on. And so it like turned me going inward and being like, okay, like I want to build a better relationship with myself. Like I want to get to know myself better. I want to work on the things that are coming up for me and just like continue my journey of growth and just being the best version of myself. And that sounds like cheesy, but it's so true. And that really kicked all of that off in different levels, you know?
Well, I'm so glad that you did, because it's funny, like actually talking about this, I realized that we've run positive races throughout our entire lives. Because if you think about it, you started diving into your self journey and you were more familiar with that due to your lifestyle growing up and things like that. But like it wasn't like we tackled it together. You just started on that path on your own. And I started to see these huge changes in you. And it was insane, the person that was showing up from the person that I met, not in a bad way, in an amazing way, right? You just improved on the person that I already loved, right? So it was insane. And then it was like something started going off in me of like, I want that. And then I started diving in with you, and then we kind of caught up to each other. And then like I would go off on something and you would catch up to me, and then we just kept doing that. Where I think that that's a really big blessing in our relationship, that we've always done that, because I feel like couples will tend to improve, one of them will, and the other one just stays stagnant. And that never goes well. And so I've always loved that you and I we didn't do it all together. There's sometimes that I'm heading the race and you catch up, like, wow, I need to pick it up in that aspect. I like what you're doing. I want to try that and see if that works for me. You find your own way and you get it done, and then we're just like, boom, now what? And it's really cool because I've learned so much from you through this, you know, self-awareness, self-growth journey, and that it's completely changed my life. So it's really cool that we did that together, but at different times.
Yeah. What's the song?
Take one step
Turn
forward.
riding shotgun.
Oh God. Oh, Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, it's like you take turns. Like I'll take over sometimes, you take a rest, or not a... Okay, that doesn't make sense. No. Okay, we'll just scratch that. And I think the reason too that we wanted to share this, or we have talked about this before, is that I think people will like look at me and be like, you used to smoke, or like, and because I feel like a completely different person in a good way. I'm still myself, but just, you know, and just knowing that for 15 years we've been together, and for 15 years we have committed to things and wanted to grow and to change and to be better. And it's been this like from year after our first year together, right? That year was just a fucking shit show. After that, we're like, all right, let's do this. And every minute of every day has just been a constant like commitment, and how can we do better? How can we grow? What do we need to work on? Where are we at? Sometimes we're a mess. Sometimes we're doing great. Like it's just this constant like journey that we're on. And I think it's easy to look at someone's like end picture and be like, wow, like they're so healthy and they have such a great relationship and they're, you know, doing all these cool things. And yes, while that's true, it's been such a like
slow growth.
And I don't want to say a slow growth, but just like a constant commitment to ourselves, like a constant commitment to our relationship, a constant commitment to our health, a constant commitment to our spiritual health, our mindset, our wellness, like the life we want to live, the desires that we have. Like it's work. It's work. Like you can't just say, I want to have have the love of my life or be super fit and this and that, like without commitment and work.
Totally.
Constant.
And I love, if you look at it, this has been a 15-year journey and continuing. Mm-hmm. It's a constant journey.
Yeah.
We constantly will be like, man, we need to tighten it up. But what I love about it is we will never go back to that beginning, right? We have a new starting point.
A new normal. Yeah.
A new normal. And then that new normal gets pushed. And then that becomes a new normal. And then we're like, like for instance, this is the first time ever that we have averaged 4 to 5 days a week working out before work.
Consistently.
Yeah. We would do it for a couple weeks, and then I would fall off the rocker and be like, dude, I'm not getting up out of bed at, my alarm's not going off at 4:50. Like, screw that. And I would fall off, but we have stayed consistent for 5 months. Yeah. And now I don't know any other way.
I think, you learned a new habit here. But I think it also goes to show that if we're talking of, and again, another reason why we're bringing all of this up is because it's the new year and people always have these big lofty goals for especially health and fitness and stuff. And so I think it's important to create habits that are sustainable and not super extreme. Again, we didn't go from eating Chinese food every night to eating salad, like spinach. Like we started making, that Chinese food homemade at home, right? Like we started small. We never were like, we're not eating this. We started with a 5K. Like you ease into things. If they're not goals that you feel like you can stick with, what's the point, right? The point is to build these healthier habits over time. And so with this gym, I think it's important.
Here?
Yeah.
Or in general?
Our gym here.
Oh, yeah.
It's so important to find a workout that you love.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
So, again, Kim and I have been doing this for 15 years. We were personal trainers ourselves. We used to lead workouts, make workouts, design workouts for people. I used to always think, honestly, working out's working out. There's never going to be... Can you
I'm
just
picking my nose.
Yeah.
I have a booger.
It's okay. We're going to stop. Or I'm going to start twisting my hair.
It hurts.
So, basically, I was always the one that said, I work out because of the way it makes me feel, but that doesn't mean I enjoy it. This is the first time that I literally love going to the gym. And I've never said that. In all the years of my sports and everything, I hated it. But I did it because it made me feel good and I liked the way I felt. And, I saw results, which was fantastic. This gym is the first time in my life that I'm excited to go to. And it is the one thing that I am sad to leave.
Me too. I'm so
The first
sad.
time ever. And it's because, I like Orange Theory, but I was never able to stay consistent. I really didn't like a lot of aspects of it, but it was a good workout. And I always felt like I got crushed when I went in there. So I was like, I really like this because I can see results and it pushes me. This is the perfect balance of everything I've ever wanted. I've loved nothing more in my fitness journey than this gym.
Yeah.
Fit Social, baby.
Fit Social. It's an incredible place. I feel the same way. I look forward to going. I know it's going to be tough, but I look forward to it. It's different every day. So it keeps you engaged. So I think the point is that finding something you really like to do. I think that's so important. I used to really like running and doing the races. Now you couldn't pay me to go for a run. I have zero interest. But
you like bar.
I love bar, Pilates. That's my favorite type of workout. But find something that you really enjoy doing because you're twisting. It keeps you going. It keeps you consistent, right? So whatever that is for you, yoga, jogging, running.
Something active.
Okay. So I also wanted to talk about our morning routine that we do for first thing as we wake up, because it's these small things that really make a big difference. And this is what I've learned over time. And it's such simple things, but when you do it consistently, I'm on autopilot. It's the same thing every morning.
Mm-hmm. I'm gotten used to it. I love it.
Yeah. I had to do some manipulating to get Aaron to the greens. Not
those.
Yeah, you like these. Okay. So first thing, literally eyes are opened. Get out of bed. I walk over. Obviously, I turn on the coffee pot. I mean, that's number one. But I get warm water. Himalayan sea salt, and a splash of apple cider vinegar.
And lemon.
Oh, yeah. Did I not say lemon?
No.
Oh, and a half a lemon. And I pour it in like a small cup, and I chug that down. Like, first thing
Why
that
do you
goes
do
into
that?
my body. So the lemon is very cleansing. It's detoxifying. It's kind of ridding yourself of all that yucky gunk that's like left in the pipes. The salt is really good, like minerals and like electrolytes, like because you've been sleeping all night, you're dry, or your body's like not
Stimulate your system.
Yeah, it's like moving a little bit slower. So the salt's really good for that, and then the apple cider vinegar is just another great like cleanser. I mean, apple cider vinegar has so many good
Right, and when you
benefits
mix
to it.
the warm water with the salt and the lemon, we add the apple cider vinegar because we love it, because it's just like a shot of ACV is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's great for sinuses and things like that. But just if the apple cider vinegar turns you off, it's just literally warm water, lemon, and sea salt, and it's supposed to be like 2 ounces of sea salt and 16 ounces of water. And the warm water helps stimulate you as well, and it flushes out your lymph system and gets you cleaned out. So if you're prone to, like I was always prone to sinus infections and things like that, I have been breathing better. My sinuses aren't as bad. It's phenomenal. It's been a life-changing thing, and it gets your body running. It's actually almost better than coffee in a way, of a natural substance that flushes out your system and awakens you.
Even if I'm like super, super tired when I wake up and I'm like, I have a headache, you know how you do kind of when you wake up, after I have my water, and then the second thing we do is greens. After I have those 2 things, I always feel instantly so much better. So we have the water, and I always make Aaron his because I'm always up before him. So I have his little cup there waiting for him as soon as he gets up. His little pink cup. And then I have a shaker, and right now I'm using Organifi. That's my favorite.
Oh yeah, mine too. Because whatever you bought last time was complete
You don't
dog
like
shit.
this stuff that's really powerful. So like
Whew.
spirulina is super fishy. I mean, it's from the freaking ocean.
And this is coming from somebody that won't eat like a fish if it smells fishy.
It doesn't bother me because I know it's doing its good work. Like,
So is fish.
But it's literally, you open your mouth, it's down the hatch. You're not eating a piece of anything. You are opening your mouth and like gulping a glass. Like it's so easy.
Like you love shrimp, but if it smells fishy, I don't want it. I'm disgusted by it.
Yeah, because you're eating it. This is supposed to. It's algae. It's seaweed. It's algae from the ocean.
Coming from the same place.
It doesn't matter. It's not supposed to smell like that.
Okay.
Right? Like, no, it's not supposed to smell like that when you're eating a piece of fish. Like, it's not supposed to smell fishy. You know?
Okay.
The point is, this is like fish oil. Okay? It's fishy, it's fish oil, but like, you know what it is, and you're just down the hatch. Like, I think for me, when I know things are like healthy or like good, like
you would
potions,
drink cat piss.
I used to put pee on my face for my skin. I'll do anything for skin, and greens are very good for your skin. So like that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I love moringa powder. I love chlorella. I put that in my water, or chlorophyll, chlorella, spirulina. And so I'll buy this stuff that's like pure, just like greens, and Aaron doesn't like that, or just straight spirulina. Like, you can't handle it. But
I still do it.
Well, there's lots of crying. but the Organifi, it actually tastes really good. And that has all the greens in it. So we start out by doing those 2 things. Always. I literally never miss a morning unless I'm like hungover.
Which is the time you probably need it most.
And then I'll have a Diet Pepsi.
Right. Yeah, when you don't drink coffee, I know it's bad.
You know, like, because I always have coffee every morning. And the only time I'll ever even think of having a sip of pop in the morning is if I'm hungover. And you're like, oh shit, Here we go. Okay, so that's the morning routine. And then I get a big cup of, or not a big cup, my huge water jug. It's like, 32 ounces or something? I fill that up, and then I put, I have this liver detox that I put a couple of drops in there, and like that's the water I drink while I'm having my workout, and that's just really good for liver support, and again, like getting rid of the gunk, detoxifying, cleansing, all that kind of stuff. So I'll do that, especially if I know I'm gonna have like a cocktail too. I'll double up on the liver support. Okay, and I want to talk about my afternoon drink.
Yeah.
So
You're definitely more
I
into
know.
this than I am. I love the morning stuff.
yeah, I
And
just
then-
force you to do things, basically.
You actually don't.
I don't?
No.
Oh, okay.
What do you force me to do?
I guess not, because you don't have the afternoon drink with me, but I know you would love it if you did.
And I mean that all changed for me like when I read Aubrey Marcus's book and started doing the lemon water every single morning and in Atlanta. That like completely changed. That book aligned me with more of the stuff that you did on a regular
100%,
basis.
yeah.
Because then I started doing the cold showers every morning. Got my timer. I do my 3 minutes.
You felt so good when you did that. You
still
should
do.
bring that back. When's the last time you did that?
Today?
Really?
Yes.
I didn't think you were still doing that.
Yeah. I don't do it as regular.
Yeah, you were doing it like every single day, and you felt amazing.
Yeah, I'm just.
I haven't brought myself to do that
I'm
yet.
waiting for my actual cold plunge pool.
Okay. Well, put it on the list, buddy. Okay, so my afternoon drink is I do warm water with lemon again, and then I have turmeric and ginger root that are so good, and I peel it and slice it up and then put it in my water with cayenne and black pepper. So black pepper if you're having turmeric, which turmeric has so many good healing benefits and it's anti-inflammatory and so many things. Black pepper activates like all the good stuff in turmeric, so you really want to put those two things together. And so I let it steep in my cup, and then I drink that, and it's like literally the best thing ever.
Love that.
Love that for me.
And I started to say it, but I want to share about my cold plunge.
Okay, I'm
So-
gonna tinkle.
What I think is really what?
Go to the bathroom.
You're gonna leave me solo with this?
I have to go so bad.
So what I think is really cool was number one, I've always heard a lot of people doing cold plunges, and I thought that was absolutely crazy because number one, I thought that meant that they take cold showers, which literally you will have more repulsive looks given to you when you say I take cold showers. Like people are just like, oh my god, like why would you do that? But I read this book and started diving into it, and I don't know if it's because it's something that I'm interested in, that all of a sudden I'm seeing it all over my social media feed, and in any articles that come up on Google is basically about cold water plunges. And then I got into Wim Hof, which is a guy that specializes in it. He has the Guinness Book of World Records for running barefoot and shirtless across Antarctica. Like
He's crazy.
He's nuts. But they've done studies on him. Doctors have, and his blood work is like nobody else's that anybody's ever seen. He doesn't get sick. He's actually beat some diseases and stuff. Like it's insane. But what's really cool is like it's becoming more mainstream now. And what I learned, and it was the way, again, it's kind of what we've been talking about during this podcast, was it wasn't like you just have to start jumping into cold showers. What was really cool that I learned was in Aubrey Marcus's book, he said, take your normal shower, like wash, but do it on a regular basis. Don't just, or like kind of a up tempo, right? Like don't delay in there, but take your warm shower. And then I got myself a timer, and he said, start off with like as long as you can do, but you're shooting for 3 minutes, and that's it. And then you get to reward yourself with the warmth for the remainder of how long you want to take a shower. So I started doing my bathing, my good bathing, and then I would take 30 deep breaths, like just normal breaths, not like till you're going to pass out. And then on the out of your 30th breath, you hold your breath and you crank the water down. And a lot of cold water that people don't like, if they've ever dove into cold water, it's because your respirations go crazy and it makes you feel like you're panicking, and it's this whole thing. So colder temperatures, colder water is, you have to be able to control your breath. And that's what Wim Hof talks about a lot. But the benefits of it is completely reduces inflammation. People that do cold plunges have more brown fat, which I meant to go look into that, of like what that actually means. It actually has two times the dopamine release, and your body, it helps with mental health, depression, energy, like
good
I
for your
said,
skin.
inflammation, your skin, and your body actually loves responding to, I wish I knew the word, but it's a short period of like a traumatic kind of thing, but in a positive way, right? Like not like trauma, but like it likes dealing with that. I don't know if it's like sympathetic trauma or something like that. But basically 3 minutes is, the goal is like 11 minutes a week is what they're saying, that you can really see the results. And literally, every time I do it, I just feel so good. I feel so energized. I feel so clear. And none of my body aches. Like, I don't have any knee pain, Achilles pain, shoulder pain, nothing. It's been phenomenal. It's been life-changing for me. And that's
You
the
should
one.
start doing it every morning. Again.
Yeah. I mean, this shower is crappy because
So what? Just do it.
when you put it on the cold, there's no water that comes out, so it's just dripping on you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you got to think you can't turn the hot on, so you can only do one.
Just turn off the hot.
Yeah, it just doesn't get as cold.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Well,
anyway, that's my one thing.
I love that. One day I'm going to get the kahunas to do that.
You were supposed to do it. Remember, for 30 straight days?
I did, remember?
30 straight days.
I did it for a day.
Yeah, you did. And you did say you felt better.
I know you do. It's just like not easy to do.
Oh, and people that do cold plunges also do better in colder weather. Their body is more adaptable to colder weather.
That makes sense. Okay, let's move on to smoothies.
Ooh, that's your topic. I'm gonna go potty.
No. It would be so weird.
Doing a solo podcast?
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it.
How do people do that?
I think that's why they interview.
Yeah, I couldn't sit here and talk to myself.
Well, you're not talking to yourself, though.
But you feel like you are. At
Yeah.
least you're here with me. I just feel like I'm like having a conversation.
You could put like Mimi in a chair.
I would snore. Okay, so last thing we'll talk about is green smoothies, because these are kind of like staples. Again, as our life changing, you know, we're big travelers, right? So when we're traveling, food is an experience. We're not going to be like super strict and this and that, but like I try to make healthier decisions when I can. I love, I'm pretty much plant-based. I would say like 90%. I do eat fish. I do eat shrimp, and I do eat steak like very rarely.
It's very rare.
I crave that blood sometimes.
When Kim has a craving for it, I will literally, I don't care what time of day it is, I will run to the grocery store.
You're so excited.
And grab it, because then it's like, yes.
Yeah, you get like a huge heart on.
Yeah.
When I get that blood
I
running
know.
down my chin. But I would say I'm like 90% plant-based, and I think like the easiest thing is just you try to eat vegetables. Try to eat a lot of vegetables. Try to eat things that are whole and clean, and
Shop the perimeter.
yeah, like shop the perimeter. So if you're getting boxes of food like my rice-a-roni that I freaking love,
Scallop
or
potatoes.
my Lipton noodle soup, and all the ingredients are things you don't know how to pronounce, like those are things that maybe you just have once in a while, like as a treat. So having things that have whole ingredients, whole foods, real food. And so that, like, we eat pretty clean, I would say. I mean, for the most part.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, we have small drawers for pantries, and if you look in our pantry, it's support foods, like sauces and things like that. It's not a lot of processed food.
No.
I mean, we have croutons with salad.
Oh,
like, I mean,
best.
I'm not negotiating that.
No.
And the rest of it is like
Pretzels. You love pretzels.
I love pretzels for my lunch. Like, it's a good go-to.
I think my main thing is that actually something that I'm trying to work on right now. Just because lately I feel like I've just been
Out of control.
with like eating so much bread. And for me, I love bread. Like, if I could choose anything, it would be like, give me a loaf of bread and butter. Like, that is my favorite thing in the world. I'm happy to have that for dinner. And so I've been eating so much of it between like pizza and bread, and just so really wanting to cut back on that, at least, not for dinner. Even though we just had pasta the other night. We're like, no carbs. And then we're like, let's have pasta and like garlic bread.
Yeah, dude.
It's amazing.
That was a
I don't
special
even-
night.
I don't even care.
And it was like, that spaghetti is amazing.
No, I know. But yeah, I think that would just be something I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional for myself, is like, I know that I feel better and that is one thing about being more plant-based, is that we used to would like grill chicken and have chicken and a vegetable. Like that's such a great go-to to be lean. Or fish and a vegetable, or shrimp salad, or like these things that are just like a protein and a veg.
And you're not going to get back into that in Florida?
Not chicken. Damn. But I love fish.
But I guess I could grill you.
Chicken creeps me out.
I'll grill chicken and you get something else for the grill.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So anyways, I think that's kind of our rule of thumb. We don't have a lot of rules or restrictions. Like I eat a lot of cheese. I love cheese, like feta cheese on a salad. Or right now I'm really into almost every day for lunch I'm doing a vegetable wrap with like hummus and veg and like a low carb wrap.
But
with
you
like
make your own hummus.
A little bit of blue cheese. Yeah, I make my own hummus every week. It's so easy. It's like chickpeas, olive oil, tahini, and lemon and salt and a blender. Super simple. It's my favorite thing in the world. Garlic. So I'll have that, like carrots and hummus, or like I really like pita and hummus. That's like what I'll have a lot for lunch, of course. So anyways, we just try to make like healthier choices when we can, but then we also go out to dinner, and if we're going to go somewhere and have an experience, and we're going to get what we want, we're going to get the dessert, we're going to get the bread basket. We're definitely not people that restrict when we're having a food experience, but I think that's also why we like to work out too, because it keeps everything balanced. If I didn't work out,
oh my god,
the way I've been eating lately, I feel like I would be like 500 pounds.
I will say, as healthcare travelers too, like we have to adapt to our location. We're not always, we don't have a grill here.
I know.
We don't have a big kitchen. Like we don't have a lot. I mean, we have a stove and a microwave and things like that, and all the pots and pans we need, but there's nothing like something on the grill. And so we usually eat really healthy when we have a grill.
Yeah, because that's the best dinner in my mind. Is like Bobby's on the grill.
What are you, Australian?
Why you said that, Bob?
Oh.
Bob.
Me, Bob.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying
Bobby boy.
Like Bobby, like shrimp on the Bobby.
You Bobby boy.
Oh.
Bobby's on the grill. That's funny. Bobby's on the grill. I'm whipping up a little salad. Like, it's so easy. I do miss that. And that's one thing that we said when we moved back to Jack's. That's a non-negotiable, is we have to have a little outdoor space. Doesn't have to be big, but that we can have a grill again, because that's my favorite way to eat.
Totally.
Okay. So all that to say that's, I think that was pretty much it with that. And then I was just going to talk about the smoothies real quick.
Please, because there's a lot of misconceptions around smoothies.
I love you for saying that. You're so cute.
Why? It's so true, though.
You're just cute. Okay.
Well, it's like, let's go to Smoothie King.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Because it's healthy. That's like you going to Panera.
Well, right. And that's the other thing, too, is, just because you're plant-based doesn't mean you're healthy. Just because you're, what did you just say? Oh, you're getting a smoothie doesn't mean it's healthy. Just because you're getting a salad doesn't mean it's healthy, right? It's like, a lot of times I have found being more plant-based is more challenging because you're eating more quinoa or rice or carbs or grains or beans, right? Because that's all protein, or not protein. Well, beans are protein. Quinoa is protein, but like they're carbs, right? Mm-hmm. And so, or, people think, oh, low fat's good. Well, no, like food
food
that has low fat has a lot of sugar in it. You have to compensate for that. So it's like, eat the whole fats, eat the olive oils and the avocados and like the good quality, the nuts, the walnuts, like
portions.
Eat the good quality food. That, like, when you're eating, like, drizzle that olive oil on your salad with some fresh lemon, like, that's going to be a better dressing, and it's going to allow your body to absorb all the nutrients, and having like a fat-free Italian dressing. Like, that's not doing you any favors.
No.
Okay. So back to the smoothies. A lot of people put a lot of sugar in their smoothies, and I'm almost like, well, why don't you just have a freaking milkshake for breakfast? Yeah. Like, because of all the sugar you're putting in it. And I am a green smoothie queen. Like, I have one almost every single day. I just had one tonight for dinner, not because I wanted to, but because we don't have any food and I didn't feel like cooking. So it was like, easy.
We're leaving next week.
Yeah, it was just like easy, not satisfying at all for dinner, but it gets the job done sometimes. And when smoothies are done right, they can be really filling and really be nutritionally dense. And so my first rule of thumb with a smoothie is that you want to have it be more greens than fruit. So people put so much fruit and so many different things that it's like you're having like 1,000-calorie smoothie with all sugar, you know? So it's a great attempt, but I think just knowing the best way to go about it. So I load the blender with greens. I pack it down. It's all
kale.
green. Spinach or kale. And then I'll do some turmeric, some ginger, some frozen berries, blueberry or blackberry.
Like a handful, maybe, if you're making 2.
Just a little bit. And then I'll do protein powder. I do a plant-based protein powder. And then I'll do a half a banana because I love banana and it just sweetens everything. Some people don't even put bananas in. And I'm like, you're crazy because that shit makes everything taste good. Without a banana, it's like, ugh.
And we usually do like frozen blue for our smoothies. Because, I mean, if you're getting into the pineapples and the...
Oh, gosh, no.
That's what I'm saying. Those are high sugar. So...
Stick to a berry.
Correct.
Yeah. So blue or black or straw, you know, sometimes. But typically we just do blueberries. And then I'll do unsweetened almond milk and one fat. So, like, you want to have your greens. You want to have, like, your fiber. You want to have your...
Sugars.
Protein.
Natural sugars.
Yep. And then a fat. And so I'll do either avocado or some walnuts.
Like a third of the avocado or a fourth of the avocado.
Yep. A fourth. So if I'm making one for you and I'll do like a half. Yeah. And then some kind of a or so it's either or. So I'm not going to do avocado and nuts or avocado and peanut butter or almond butter or something. It's one or the other. And so, so I'll either do a nut butter, nuts, or an avocado. And, like, that's it. Like, super simple. Oh, flax seeds I'll do, or hemp seeds. Some of that if I have it. Chia. I don't have any of that right now, so it's just kind of more basic.
Collagen.
Collagen.
But we put that in our coffee.
Yeah. I don't have any collagen right now either. So that's kind of, like, the gist is, like, having it be greens, sticking to a blueberry or a blackberry, keeping it super simple, half a banana, ginger, turmeric are like my favorite things to put in there, and then some sort of a fat, protein, you're good.
Well, the only thing I will say too is you got to watch the protein powders as well. Now we've come a long way since, I remember asking my mom at 15 if I could get some protein powder, and it was literally chalk dust. Like, it was bad. So we've come a long way. But just watching that, because they can sneak in a bunch of sugars into a lot of those protein powders, like the muscle milks and the things like that. So you really want to, if you're doing it to be healthy, then really look at that as well and go after like I think a plant-based protein is actually better.
They don't taste as good, but I like Orgain. Sometimes it does make me feel a little bit bloated. I actually kind of wanted to try to find a better one, but you get it on Amazon. It tastes good. It's got high protein, low sugar. I get the chocolate. It gets the job done,
Totally, I like it.
And like that's pretty much it. And like that's such a staple. It's a great breakfast, a great lunch, sometimes a dinner if you need it.
Yeah, we did 4 nights of shakes.
Yeah.
And after the third night, I was like, that's too much.
It was too much. I think, too, the final thing is like, just, and we're trying to do this, too, is like being aware of all the sugar, because that is the one thing that, if we have a night where we get frozen yogurt or something, and I get frozen yogurt with like cookie dough and like Reese's, like there's like...
Oh, if you're going to go big.
And while delicious, I always wake up the next morning. I'm so swollen. My eyes are so swollen. I feel lethargic. I feel like shit. Like every time I eat a bunch of sugar, and I'm going, like, I'm still going to have chocolates. I'm still going to eat it, but I just know that when I eat a lot of it, like bags of candy and shit, which is like really rare, but I always feel horrible. Yeah, you always are polishing off like gummy bears and shit, but... I'll do like a dark chocolate and sea salt. That's like my favorite. It actually sounds really good.
It does. And I like that you started doing that, buying the bigger bar, and then we just break off a couple pieces.
Yeah.
And it really satiates you to like, okay, I've had my chocolate fix.
It gets the job done.
It does.
Actually. It really does. And then we just got these Skinny Cows. They're like ice cream sandwiches, and they're only 150 calories. So it's like you can have 2.
Oh my God.
Which there's only one left. I really
You can
want
have it.
What?
Yeah, you can have it.
All right. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the run of the mill of, I think, what we were going to say, right? We didn't write any notes. We're doing this Wednesday night, so.
Again, second time in a row.
Listen, we got a lot going on, man. We're polishing off this move. Well, I don't know. Polish.
We haven't packed anything.
I know, like we haven't even started packing,
But this is
let alone polishing.
This is what we always do, though, because we use the majority of the stuff we have, and so, I mean, not this time, but you know, we'll get it done. We always do.
Tomorrow's the day. I'm gonna start packing.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, kiddos. We'll see you out there. Don't forget. Don't forget to join the interest list if you're interested in our Peru trip that we're launching next week, releasing next week, and any future trip. You will being on that list. You'll get all the details. And go check out the Travsessed backpack. It's at the clearance rate.
Tell your friends, family.
Yeah, tell everybody.
Coworkers.
We really want to be able to sell these bags so that we can really move on to the next version. We're really excited about it. So, anyways, with that, stay safe, friends.
Oh my God.
That's my sign off.
See you next week.
See you next Thursday.